morning. Good morning.
Okay.
All right. Coby's got questions.
So I got a list of some questions so that we can debate.
Cat or dog?
Dog.
Dog.
But I also want cat.
I like cats too. Maine Coon.
But I don't like our cat.
Yeah.
In the future,
You got a
I'm
Maine
okay
Coon?
with having like a bunch of cats, like 3 or 4 or something. Because they're
They're
they
independent.
do themselves, you know? Like I just cuddle with them when I want to.
Yeah.
Because if they're only in the house like a quarter of the time,
Just
that
mean
means there's always one cat bound to be in the house.
Yeah, well, you get a Maine Coon because they always stay in the house and they like to cuddle. They're big.
No, but I want them to live independently, at least mine.
Right.
Okay, so do you think humans are innately good or innately evil?
Good.
Why?
Because I think it's just basically the bad people who make the most noise, and you hear about bad all the time, and bad makes more noise. But I think generally speaking, most people are good. I think that most people know what's right and what's wrong, even if they don't always act on it. And I think if you ask most people for directions, they'll generally tell you where to go without telling you the wrong place to go. I don't know. I think a lot of people are also just shy about being good, introverted enough that they don't actually express themselves. So everybody's walking around with their head down and they don't talk to each other. But I think if you actually spoke to somebody, they would actually they would quite enjoy that, quite like that somebody gave them a little bit of intention. I think most people want to have a form of happiness, however you define that. And I think that most people know that that only comes from building relationships as opposed to breaking them down by being bad.
So do you think that some people are innately evil?
Innately evil?
Mm-hmm.
There's probably some people, yes, but I think that's very few. I think you're gonna have more like, I think it'll be more like pathological, like psychopaths or something like that.
That are innately evil?
Yeah, and then I think that there's also a whole group of people in the transitional phase.
Do you think that's evil?
Well, if it's pathological, then you could also say that there's an excuse there, right? Because they're all messed up. But I think there probably are some people who are just evil. But I bet you those are very few, right? Yeah, I mean, sure, you can probably come up with examples of people who've done evil things for sure. But I think those are fairly few. I think what you get a ton of. Okay, so I'm going to make an analogy here to muscle fibers. And in muscles, you get fast twitch muscles and slow twitch muscles. Right? Slow twitch are like the ones that you used for walking or running a long distance. Postural muscles, things that are working, a lot. And then you get fast twitch muscles. This is like speed. But they wear out fast. And then you get a whole range of transitional fibers. So that means depending on how you train them, they can transition towards a fast twitch or towards a slow twitch.
I remember you teaching me this when I was like a small child.
Yeah, because that's what I talk about to my babies.
And then I would do everything fast.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that works. And I think that good bad issue is kind of similar, in the sense of you could be a transitional person, like as far as good bad kind of thing, but you're more often in a bad environment and you'll get influenced by that. You're more often around people who make bad choices. You get influenced, you start doing that, or you can get influenced for good. I think there's a lot of people who are like that, who can be influenced. Well, I think everyone can be influenced, but I think some people are more susceptible to it than others.
Yeah.
And
so it all kind of depends on your environment, I guess.
Well, that's what I mean. Depending on your environment, the people you're around. Yeah. We can keep on going in this area, or did you have like a few questions? Because
there are a few.
Because like we talked about, we even talked about like Hitler once before, and I think one time we talked for your podcast, it was like, I'm not making excuses for Hitler, and I'm not saying he's good. Because I don't want to get into that debate. I'm just saying, imagine that. All right, he applied to art school a couple times and he didn't get accepted. Right, so he's probably feeling a little bit crappy, and I don't remember stuff about his childhood or whatever, but I don't remember. I heard it wasn't all that great. I just heard it in what was it? It was something Jordan Peterson said in one of his podcasts where he was talking about Hitler. And it's not an excuse for anything he did, not at all, right? But imagine he's kind of down on his luck, and then I don't know, he's at a convention or whatever, and he speaks, and somebody hears him speak, and they like the way he speaks, and they give him some praise. And now he's finally getting some praise, and he likes that. Okay, I'm not even talking about Hitler. We're talking about like anybody fictional as well. Like, you know, it's like now you're getting a pat on the back. Hey, good job, you know. And this is the first time you've ever heard, "Good job, you're doing well. I think you're good." And he probably liked that, and keeps going, right? And then they find that he's a very good orator, and it's like, okay, say this. Here, you know, talk about this, and he does it, and then he gets all this praise, and he gets money for it, etc., etc. Right, and now I'm not saying that he's not at fault. He's at fault. I'm not. Right. I'm just saying
it's kind of like,
you see how somebody could get influenced.
Yes, but it's also like crowd mob mentality kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas you wouldn't think of these things on your own, you know.
Yeah. So I heard this was on Joe Rogan's podcast last week or something.
It's completely. You come up with the stupidest ideas, or you come up with the most extreme things when you're with a crowd of people who are encouraging you and going like, "Oh yeah." Like you think about a guy on his own, he's not gonna go freaking, I don't know, jump into a fountain in the middle of the city or in the middle of a mall or something. But he'll do that with his friends.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Like, there's back during COVID, there was apparently 14 guys who conspired to kidnap the Michigan governor. So now, after all the investigation, everything's found out. 10 of them were FBI informants. 2 of them were FBI agents. So out of the 14 of them, there's only 2 guys, right? And they weren't the leaders. They were just like dumb, right? Low IQ. And it's like, and can you imagine somebody with low IQ, like just low IQ, and you know, people are working them up. Hey, come on, we're gonna go. You know, we're gonna kidnap the governor. But it's for good, because it's for our freedom. It's for America. And it's like, yeah, okay, I'll go around with that. Then they do that, and then the only 2 guys in jail are the 2 guys who just went along with it. Yeah, for the 10 FBI informants and the 2 FBI agents, they're just doing their job.
Yeah, that's messed up.
You just think these poor 2 guys. It's funny, but it's sad, and it's messed up. Yeah. And there's a lot of people who maybe just can't think for themselves. It's you'd be amazed at how many people have a good IQ, but how many people have a bad IQ, and really there's not a lot going on in there, and they'll just go along with whatever anybody says.
With enough thought, you could basically say anything with a good cause behind it, and you could get people to do it.
You could twist a lot of stuff, yeah, for sure.
Depending on how much you slowly push boundaries. Mm-hmm. You can't do it all at once, but you could basically say anything and get people supporting you if it's a good cause.
Yeah.
Because what was Hitler's cause? I don't know, free Germany from the war reparations or stuff like that. Or
I mean, sure, that was worked into it partly, yeah, from the
like
stuff
with
from
the people,
First World War.
right? And then you slowly push certain other things, and then link it all together, and then suddenly, if you believe this, then you believe that, and you believe that, and you believe everything. So if this is true, then this must be true, and this is a leader that you love who is fighting for what you believe in, fighting for your country when nobody else is. Yeah. You can get them to do anything, depending on how good you are at speaking. Manipulating.
Yeah. All right. What is our time? So, all right. Pick up let's stop one more thing before I'll get you a little further up before you gotta take the tram the rest of the way. It's too late for me to. It's too late for me to get you to school.
Can humans change their behavior if given enough time?
Yes.
All?
But yes. I think, well, maybe no. There's probably a few people, there's some that, like, again, that small percentage of people who...
Why do you think that is? Why?
Why do you think that people can change?
No, why do you think certain people can't?
I think that would come down to more some type of pathology, or something's wrong. There's something just not clicking. Now that could be nutrient deficiencies or toxicities. It could be mutated, like genetics kind of thing, genes. Like if you take someone with Down syndrome, those people are wonderfully good. Like I've never seen somebody with Down syndrome that's not had a great smile on face and hasn't been able to put a big smile on everybody's face around them. Like they're just good. But could you imagine the other side of that? Somebody who's got this particular pathology that makes you inherently bad. Not necessarily makes you bad, but makes you not be able to understand good. Right? Like, I don't know. Takes out anybody evil. It's like, I'm glad I'm not their judge, right? Because
Am I getting out here?
yeah, I don't know. Let's talk about this one later. I like it. And also I want to find examples to back me up. Because, and maybe there are none. Maybe I'm wrong. But I might be right. I don't have a clue.
All right. Peace, guys.
See you guys
Love.
later. Ciao.
Just love and takers.